So first up on the list was the chair that's missing both of the armrests. Luckily they were pretty much disassembled, and the parts that weren't, I just knocked them apart with a rubber hammer. But I got the original armrest off of one chair and just drew them out on a pallet slat and got them pretty close so they could be. And then I went over to the bandsaw and started cutting them out. So I take my time and I just go around the outer edge of my pencil line. That way when I get over to the belt sander and the disc sander, I can kind of just sneak up on my line and make sure that both of the pieces match perfect size. So then over to the disc and belt sander, I hold the pieces together as best I can, and I also at one end put a little piece of tape just to kind of keep them together so I can make sure that the shapes are identical. So I move around and then I start getting the arcs right. I get up to my pencil lines, and as soon as I get them to where they both match perfectly, I just tear the tape away and then start knocking down some of that roughness on them, so I won't have so much to do with the orbital sander later. But the belt sander can really take off a lot, so you got to be careful here not to apply a lot of force or you'll get them uneven in thickness. So I had been pondering how to get the round ends on the armrest, and the only thing I could come up with was to use the biggest plug cutter that I have. So it wouldn't fit in there to start with, so I just got a razor knife and kind of just whittled down the end just enough to fit into the plug cutter, and then run it on there and cut out the excess just to make sure it looked just like the original. And I gotta say, it actually did a better job of matching up than I thought it would. I was kind of impressed with myself that I come up with this idea, but for the longest time I had pondered rounding it around on the belt sander or trying to do it by hand with a file. But in the end, this was the fastest method, and it just really looked like it was supposed to. It's hard to tell now that I've done all the sanding and the cutting which one was the original and which one are the ones that I made. So keep that in mind if you ever do a project like this, that a good little plug cutter can save you some time. So now to get the lower rung to go into the hole and the hole to be in the right place on the armrest, I just decided to use a piece of blank paper and kind of just fold it around and all that, and then just mash around the hole to where it would leave a line. Then I just used a spring punch and just punched a little dot in it. So then I take out my Dremel tool and just start sanding down the edges to try to make it look like the original. And as you can see in the video, it's getting pretty close now. So once I got both pieces done, it's really hard to tell again which one is the original versus the older one. But the Dremel tool makes short work of this, and it's real good to have on hand to be able to do things like this. And shout out to Hi Chica for sending me this tool. And it came to my attention that the holes in the bottom of the armrest were drilled at a slight angle. So with a couple practice boards, I was able to figure out that angle, and then I just clamped a scrap piece of wood to the drill press to make sure I got them drilled correctly. So now with the ends rounded over and the holes drilled in the bottom of the armrest, I just moved back over to the seat base and just try to mock it up a little bit to make sure that everything looks good so far. So what do you think? So now on the table saw, I just take out a piece of pallet slat and I rip it down to about 2 inches wide, and this will be one of the backrest slats. It's going to match up pretty close to the original, except for that bend. I currently don't have a steam box or any way to bend the wood to where it'll stay, but these right here will do pretty good, and once they're installed you'll see that they actually look like they belong. So I move over to the router table, and just with a small round over bit, I just round over all the edges, whether they're going to be seen or not, and plus it helps them to go into the slits that are already in the chair post. So now with all the pieces made up, it's time to mock it up one more time just to be sure before I start doing the stripping down and sanding process. So I put the backrest on, I run the slats in, then I just put the armrest on one more time for grins. So now with everything done, I just move on to the sanding, and I try to use a lighter sandpaper here. I will be taking these back down to bare wood but I didn't want to start with an 80 and just scratch it up real bad. So I think I'm using about a 150, maybe a 120, because I'm just trying to get the original stain and the clear coat off, just so I have a blank canvas when it's time to go back together and stain it with a new color. The color is going to be almost the same. It's an English chestnut I'll be using, so it's going to match up pretty good and look kind of like the original. So I move on to all the pieces. I clamp them together, especially the runners. I clamp them so it was easier to sand. And then for the spindles, I come up with this idea to just put a little hole in the end of each one, and I cut the head off of a screw and attach that in the drill press. That way I could just turn the spindle up tight onto that screw and then just turn the drill press on a low speed, kind of like you would do on a lathe. And I currently don't have a lathe in the shop. I have access to several. I just hardly ever go use them. So I just rigged this up real quick because this was a good way to do it. And it's pretty much the same. And I can also, on this drill press, I can control the speed. So it went real good. It went real fast. I didn't take off too much wood, and everything turned out perfect. So now let's lay down that color. I mentioned earlier, this is an English chestnut I'm using here. It's kind of a darker stain depending on the wood you're using, but I just went down and I did the bottom of the seat first, and then I just proceeded to stain all the spindles and the lower runners, pieces like that. That way I can kind of just put it together as I go so it can have time to dry. So I had to do this on 2 chairs, if you remember from the first of the video. So this right here is just one of them, and while this right here was drying, I moved around to the second one and just started doing it as well. So it's a little bit of a process, but it is a whole lot easier to stain all of these pieces when the chair is still apart. So I'm just being careful not to get it on the pegs as often as I can. Some of that I'll have to sand off to make sure the glue dries completely and correctly. So once all the stain dried, I did have to go back with a little bit of sandpaper and just kind of sand off the ends of the pegs just to make sure that I got a good solid connection with the glue. But once I had done all that, I just started applying wood glue and just moving around from rung to rung. And of course, you know, you remember from the first, there's actually 2 chairs. So in the video, you're probably just going to see different parts of 2 different chairs, but that's what I'm doing here, is just it's assembly, just putting them all together and making sure everything fits tight. And then I grab a couple wood clamps and clamp them down to keep them straight. So now that that glue's pretty much set, I'm going to go ahead and test fit on the seat base, and then just go ahead and put my glue around these pegs as well. And I try to just smear it around kind of thinner a little bit with my finger, because I also do have glue that I put down in the holes, and it will squeeze out if you over glue it. But with a dry cloth or wet cloth, you can like real quick clean that up. So I go ahead and try to do that now for the most part, but I will go back after it kind of sets up about 20-30 minutes, and I will clean off the rest if there's any left. And so I use a little wooden mallet that I recently made just to go ahead and set them all the way in. That way I'm happy that both sides will be the same and they'll both be driven into the bottom part of the hole. So now that I have both sides knocked in and most of the squeeze out cleaned up, I go ahead and apply my wood clamps to each spindle on the runners and just tighten them down. You know, it doesn't have to be massive force, but just enough to keep them from moving out of place until all that glue sets up too. So now that that's finally dried, I flip the chair over and just continue on with assembly. So I have the backrest slats here, and I also have the uprights for the backrest. And I go ahead and I apply my glue to the ends and just a little bit in the holes and start putting these together. Now these really don't need a lot of glue because it will come out and it'll run out and cause a big mess. And as you can tell, I'm speaking from experience because I had a little bit of trouble with one of them. It seemed like I over glued the holes, and trying to glue and stand them up at the same time wasn't a very good thing with that much glue. But I was able to clean it up, no issues there. And so once I get this cleaned up, I'll just move on to the front part of the chair and start putting on the armrest. So the same way as I did the bottom, I apply a small amount of glue to the peg of one of the spindles, and then I just make sure that I put it in and drive it all the way to the bottom of the hole that's drilled into the seat base. So I get that on, and then I go ahead and I put a little bit of glue on the top spindle, and then I also put it on the back of the armrest and clean up anything, of course, that squeezes out. And so then I just repeat the same thing on the other side and get my glue thinned out and get it on the peg real good and just put it in as well. So once I get all of this put in, I make sure it's all tight, and then I just follow up by installing as many wood clamps as I can just to hold it in all the key areas to make sure it's not going to move or just come loose with me taking it off the bench and starting on the next chair. So while that chair is set aside drying, I go ahead and start making me a little mop sponge to use for the shellac. I just crumple up about 5 cotton balls and just tie them up in like a clean piece of a cloth, and then just tie a little bread tie around it. So that gives me a good little homemade swab type paintbrush that I can use for some of the larger areas. So now that both chairs have been assembled and stained, I'll just move on to applying the clear coat. For all the little spindle pieces, I just go around them with a clean cloth with my clear coat on it, just to make sure I get into all those little cracks. That'll be harder to reach with a sponge or with the little swab that I made earlier. So I run around pretty quick, because this stuff does dry fast. It's got a mixture with denatured alcohol, so shellac's a real fast drying coat. So it's real easy to do. I'll not have a lot of experience with it, but it's way better and forgiving on mistakes. So I really did enjoy using it for this project, and I was just trying to get the chairs to, keep looking as probably like the day they were originally made. So I was trying to do everything I could to match that completely. But I just move around with that, and being how it dries so quick, it doesn't take probably 15 minutes before I can go ahead and just turn the chair over, and then repeat the same thing on the upper spindles and pull out the little swab and do my armrest and all of that, just to make sure I got a good smooth coat. And again, when you use shellac's one of those things, if you kind of get a run or you get a spot that doesn't look that great, all you have to do is either clean it with some alcohol, or you can just apply more shellac, and the shellac has enough alcohol in it that it will dissolve your mistake. So it's almost like having a magic eraser at your fingertips. So I just put on even coats, and I let them dry for about 15 to 20 minutes. Then I just went back and repeated that and did another coat, and I think I finally ended up a total of about 3 to 4 coats. I'm not really positive on that, but boy, it really did look good after just one coat. So they were like real shiny by the time I got to 3. And again, I really did enjoy using the shellac. It's real easy to work with, and I know I will be using it on some future projects, especially if I'm doing stuff like furniture that normally won't sit completely outside in the weather. So I finished the first chair, and I just repeat on the second chair. Both of them turned out really nice, and I was real happy with how they looked, and hopefully the viewer that sent them to me will be pleased too. So after they dried completely, I just moved them outside on the porch just to get that old country feel and look at them. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below what you think about it and what you would have done if you'd have done anything different. Thank you so much for watching this video. Shout out to the viewer that sent me this project, and shout out to my channel members TS Tree and K-Law. You're greatly appreciated. Please remember to like and subscribe or swipe and hype on your way out the door, and I'll see you on the next one.